guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today I'm bringing you my December book haul. It's February. That's how far behind I am. I have not posted a video on my YouTube channel since the end of November when I did a November book haul. I haven't even done my November wrap up, so I think my next video I'm gonna do like a November and December wrap up and kind of get caught up. Just life in general got in the way and I had to put things aside, but I'm back. So let's just get into this. Okay, you know you're momming like hardcore when you've got one hand painted and one not. That's my life. Any other moms out there that deal with this, where you get like one hand done and then the other one you're like, oh, it'll happen tomorrow? It doesn't happen in the same day. That's just me. I know. Hashtag I mom so hard. Okay, so all of my books that I gathered in December are pretty much all middle grade / YA novels. A majority of them I actually snagged during my kids' last fall Scholastic Book Fair, and that happened at the very, very end of November, and I had already done like a November book haul, so I figured I would just do it in December. Well, of course I never did it till now, so you guys are gonna enjoy all the cool books that I got in the month of December / end of November. The first book I want to talk about is one that I found on Amazon. Amazon is really awesome for, whoa, what is going on with my hair? Amazon is really awesome for paperback classic books that kids are reading like in school for like actual school reading grade levels and projects and things that they are doing. So usually you can find them anywhere between $5 and like $7. Like they're really cheap. Anyways, I picked this one up because my oldest kid, who's now in middle school, read this when he was back in 5th grade, I believe. Maybe he was 4th grade. I can't remember. I read this when I was a kid as well. I remember watching the movie as well, which was like, what, set back in the 90s? How cool would it if they actually came out with a new Indian in the Cupboard book? But anyways, this is called The Indian in the Cupboard by Lynn Reed Banks. I decided to pick this up because one, I wanted to kind of refresh my memory and reread it, so then that way I love reading books that my kids have read, but also two, my youngest son, Dean, who's in 4th grade, could possibly read this in 4th grade or next year. So I kind of want to have it on hand and read it so that I can kind of discuss it with him when he goes to read it. And it's a cute little book. If you don't know anything about The Indian in the Cupboard, it is about a boy. His birthday comes along and he is gifted a plastic Indian, like a little toy Indian. And his grandfather gives him a skeleton key. And he decides to throw the skeleton into a cupboard and lock it in. And little does he know, by using this magical skeleton key, when he goes to reopen the cupboard with this key, the Indian is now alive. And it kind of has a little journey and adventure and a friendship that begins between him and a toy Indian. The next book that I picked up in the month of December was The Boy on the Wooden Box, which is a memoir by Leon Layson. So my 7th grader, he read this in his class for like a reading assignment, I believe through the month of November until December, and then of course he got to bring it home during Christmas break because he was able to keep it. This is, I think, is it a Newbery Award? It's a Christopher Award. Is it sad that I don't know what that is? I'm gonna have to Google that. If anyone knows what a Christopher Award is, let me know. Anyways, this is, of course, if you can't tell, it has to do with a Jewish boy back in the day, or Leon himself, back when he was a young boy in Germany, and he is a Jewish boy, and everything is going great for him until suddenly things just start taking over, and suddenly people are wanting him dead, and his friends that he's known since he was a kid and neighbors and all of that suddenly are treating him differently because he's a Jew, And so it kind of goes through his experience as a young boy when, of course, Nazis came in and concentration camps and all of that, and I'm sure it's gonna be heartbreaking. I already read the first chapter, and then I read another chapter like in the middle because I was trying to help my 7th grader with some stuff, and what I already read just sounded freaking amazing, so I can't wait to actually read the whole thing. It will be nice. All right, the next 4 books that I got at my kids' Scholastic Book Fair. The first one that I picked up is The Fourth Closet, which is part of the Five Nights at Freddy's series that they're doing, and this is by Scott Cawthon and Kira Breed Risley. And if you've been following my channel at all on any of my wrap-ups this past year, I did read Five Nights at Freddy's, their first and second book. So this is the 3rd one, and I wasn't impressed. Like, I felt like they were such a messy kind of novel, and a lot of it almost didn't make sense to where I'm like, I am a grown adult. These are pretty much YA young adult books. Could potentially be middle grade if you ask me. The plots and the twist have such potential, but I feel like it's a huge just cluster of like craziness to the point where you're like, none of this is making sense. This sounds really stupid. If I was a kid, like in middle grade or even a high schooler, I would have a hard time following along. So I thought I was done with this series. But when I saw this at my kids' Scholastic Book Fair, I decided, what the hell? 3rd time's a charm. If I'm not liking this one, then I'm just gonna give up on the whole series and just screw it. The premise of this one sounds really, really good. So it's the original characters from the first and the second book. I don't want to spoil anything from them, but they're still wondering why their friend Charlie from the first book, like, how did he really disappear? Like, they got the plot point of it. They know what happened to him, but they want to know how it happened to him. So they're kind of diving into being like little detectives, and they're gonna figure out what happened to their childhood friend. But then all of a sudden, in another town, another pizzeria is going up with Robotronics that are a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's. And then suddenly in that same town, there are kidnappings and weird things start happening. So the same kids from Five Nights at Freddy's decide, you know what, we're gonna jump into this next town and figure out and help out what's happening with these kids and why are they being kidnapped, what's going on. This is too close to home kind of a thing. So it sounds amazing. I have a lot of hope in this, that it's gonna like drag me in and it's gonna be good, but we'll see. Okay, the next Scholastic book that I picked up is Windfall by Jennifer E. Smith. Now, I remember this going around BookTube like a year or 2 ago. It had a much different cover. But I remember people reading it, and there were those that loved it, and those were like, oh, it was okay. I am not much of a contemporary reader. I have read them, and there's some that I'm like, you know what, it's not too bad. But I find myself, I'm not a very immersed person in contemporary reads. But when I saw this at my kids' Scholastic Book Fair, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna try this out because a lot of booktubers loved it. And of course, there's always gonna be those that weren't big fans, and I might be one of them, but it's worth a try. So anyways, this is about a young girl who's got a crush on this boy. She decides to surprise him, I think it's like for his birthday, and gives him a lottery ticket, and then tells him how she feels about him. And lo and behold, he wins that lottery ticket. And then of course the repercussions that happen after that, you know, are they gonna be friends? Is there gonna be more to it? Is he gonna be like grateful for what she did? Like, what are the repercussions of what happens when someone wins like $1 million from a lottery ticket that was given to you, as well as just teenage feelings and vibes and all of that. So I'm curious, it might be something that I like. The next book I am super excited about. I have heard so many good things about this. This is Refugee by Ellen Gratz. Now, Ellen Gratz is known for writing wartime books, and usually they're ones that are centered around like Nazis and Germany and World War II, as well as like even Afghanistan war and all of that jazz. So, and like kids just love it. Come to find out, I didn't know this, but our high school kids, I think the 9th graders, read this book this year. Like, it was on their list of things they had to read for part of their reading assignment. Anyways, this hardcover was at my kids' Scholastic Book Fair for super cheap, and I decided to pick it up. This one has 3 different stories in it. One is Joseph, who is a Jewish boy living in 1930 Nazi Germany. Next one is Isabel, who is a Cuban girl in 1994. We all know what was happening with Cuba in the 90s, right? We had a ton of refugees coming from over there around that time. And then Mahmoud, who is a Syrian boy in 2015. So of course that's more like your Iraq and Afghanistan, Middle Eastern kind of stuff that's been going on present day, like for the last 10, 15 years pretty much. So it's 3 different refugees, but of course 3 completely different, unrelated refugees and their stories, and I'm excited to read it. I've heard really good things about it. And the last book that I picked up is Kid Owner by Tim Green. I love Tim Green. My 7th grader loves Tim Green. If you ever know the story behind Tim Green, he is an ex-NFL player who now has Lou Gehrig's disease, I believe. It's some sort of disease. It's deteriorating like his muscles and stuff, and he's in a wheelchair. And it is so sad what's happening to Tim Green. But he has written some of the most greatest kid-friendly like sport books that they can relate to, and that's what I love about him. So this is about a kid who discovers that, one, he didn't even know who his dad was, but come to find out his dad has now died and has given him the NFL team, the Cowboys. He didn't even know his dad, let alone know his dad was the owner of the Cowboys. So this is being a kid in high school, just trying to not be a misfit and wanting to be on the first string in his own high school football team. And come to find out, he now owns an NFL team for the Cowboys. So it's kind of the repercussions of suddenly taking on something that he had no idea he would ever come across. And then of course his stepmother, who I don't think he knew either, is suddenly like coming into the picture, and she wants to own the team and she deserves it kind of thing. And he's just trying to live high school life, owning an NFL team, as well as, I just want to be a first string football player. So he tries to take some of the plays from the Cowboys and starts implementing it into his high school football, and it's just kind of goes from there. Anyways, I picked this up for my 7th grader because I know he's gonna love it. But of course I'm gonna read it because I read everything he reads because I'm a crazy mom and I like to know what my kids are reading because it's relatable, right? My hair is like on one today. I am in total mom mode. Like, I'm still in like my pajamas. I don't even have a bra on. It's just, it is what it is, people. This is what you're getting. No makeup. Just go with it. Anyways, thank you so much for joining. That is my entire December book haul. I will be doing my January one soon, but I think I want to do my November wrap up first and then go from there. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for letting me be on a hiatus and be MIA for a while. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.